The preparation is almost complete. A gallop today, a work tomorrow, a travel day on Wednesday. The Big Apple awaits the arrival of Justify. Time for Road to the Triple Crown, presented by TwinSpires.com. Joe Christofak and TwinSpires.com analyst and clocker Brandon Staubel. And Brandon, the beat goes on. Justify looking good, feeling good, and following the plan to a T.
Yeah, nothing to knock on Justify right now, and you can see some of the others coming into their own as well. Tenfold and Bravazzo doing well coming out of the Preakness. So interesting players in here. We seem to have some of the top contenders in the Belmont, obviously Justify, but looking forward to seeing more of Tenfold as well as Bravazzo.
Yeah, the plan has been followed very similarly to that of American Pharoah, who won the Triple Crown in 2015. Justify with a really good gallop yesterday. Brandon is going to do something similar today. On the schedule to work tomorrow and eventually leave for Elmont, New York on Wednesday. But again, tell us what you see. Looking good to me.
Yeah, expected to see a little more of an aggressive gallop yesterday coming off the visit to the gate and the sloppy track. Didn't do a lot that day, and we're coming up to a breeze, like you said. So you're expecting him to pick up the pace a little bit in his gallops. Probably see about the same today. I don't expect to see a whole lot leading up to the suspected breeze tomorrow, but we'll see how he comes out. But you can see on the screen here, I mean, the flesh that he's carrying right now is just unbelievable. For a horse to not race at 2 and for what he's doing right now, it's just a very special animal. We talked about the fact that, comparing him to American Pharoah is a little bit unfair because they're both special in their own rights in here. But the ears are up, and he's just having fun out there. He's kind of got that almost that recline back rocker kind of look to him, and you can tell he wants to do a lot more.
Yeah, and we're going to get to see him do a lot more tomorrow with that scheduled breeze, and he will probably have a spirited gallop today. Last time when he worked the day before, he had a really spirited gallop. It almost looked like a workout. So I'm interested to see what we're going to see from Justify today. You saw that video. If you want videos like that, watching Justify train, and a whole lot more insight into his journey into the Triple Crown, it's real easy. Just join the email list at KentuckyDerby.com. Again, for the latest videos, insight into Justify's journey to the Triple Crown, it's real easy. Visit KentuckyDerby.com and join the email list. Tenfold is a progressive type for Steve Asmussen. He broke his maiden at first, asking around 2 turns. He's moved forward ever since, ran a big race in the Preakness. And as much as we've seen Justify train well here at Churchill Downs in the last week or 10 days, Tenfold hasn't missed a beat either.
Yeah, he's looked good. I remember seeing him the first time he came out and galloped from the Preakness and just caught the eye. You know, everybody was focused on Justify, and I turned to my left around at the quarter pole, and you see Tenfold galloping through, and you're like, whoa. This guy came out really well out of the Preakness and continues to move well. Yesterday we saw a nice breeze, and something about this barn that we've talked about before leading up to derbies in the past, they don't really like to squeeze the lemon dry, so to say, in the morning. So they like their horses to come in fresh, and they like them to save their race for the afternoon, not so much for the morning. So you can hear him here with the ears up, going very relaxed to the pole. And, they'll bring him out with the pony. They'll do the same thing sort of what Justify does and take a look at the track for a little bit and then start around the turn. And here you can see he's wanting to do more, and he's just trying to get him to relax before this drill. And here they do gallop him with the draw reins that we talked about. So obviously he's a horse that likes to do more sometimes than what we want him to do, and also to keep that head down, get him to relax a little bit. You can see here the ears are up, and you'll see it later on in this drill, especially you can see he's about to break off from the pole. But later on when he comes down the lane, one thing we've talked about before is the fact that Justify and Tenfold are both large animals. Both horses very light on their feet, and that was what I noticed yesterday with Tenfold, especially coming down the lane. You never really even heard him coming down the lane. Very light on his feet, very soft on the feet in here for how large of an animal he is. And you can see the rider here, he's wanting to do a lot more in there. The rider's doing a great job of keeping his hands low, trying to get Tenfold to relax. A little bit of fog yesterday, so you can see that on the screen here. It was a little hard to pick him out around the turn, but once they hit the big red pole here, the quarter pole, just switch leads on cue, and then you'll kind of see what I was talking about. Very light on the feet in here. Going to take him also, some of the riders will take their horses a little bit off the rail a little bit just to get them to settle. They don't want to go too fast in here, and that's big. You can see him checking the watch like we've talked about before. Changed leads on cue, nice stride down the lane, but he's just really getting over the surface well. Obviously his home track, but very light on his feet, and you can see that here. I don't think the screen does justice for how large of an animal Tenfold is, and Justify as well, but finishing up a little bit around the turn in here, you can see a very strong push from behind, and ears up, exactly what the barn wanted, a little bit of finish, and nice little gallop out.
101 and 3 was the official clocking time from Churchill Downs clocker John Nichols. 12 and 3, 25 and 1, 37 and 1, 49 and 1. Final time 101 and 3. Galloped out 6 furlongs, 115 flat, 7 furlongs and 128 and 4/5. So again, a really good workout for Tenfold, doing exactly what the barn wanted with exercise rider Angel Garcia aboard, once again doing a very nice job for the Steve Asmussen stable. The connections of Tenfold are very excited for his future at the Belmont and, of course, beyond.
He's just one of those horses that was constantly developing. Like, you look at Gunrunner, I mean, he was kind of, I don't want to call him similar, but, he developed later. We kind of feel like, Tenfold's into that similarity, basically.
He's always been very talented. He's a lightly run horse. He has 4 lifetime races now, and you watch him train. That's what you're going by. Right. I think that his Preakness, solidified his quality, right. And the fact that he's continued to train well since has, a lot of people talking about him that wasn't before. He went in the Preakness the longest shot on the board, and I don't think that'll happen in the Belmont.
I'd love to be the spoiler. Obviously, would love to see a Triple Crown winner from a perspective of someone that loves horse racing, but you got to earn those positions.
Gunrunner was a good 3-year-old, Brandon, and the comparisons kind of are obvious when it comes to Ron Winchell and Steve Asmussen. 3rd in the Derby, 5th in the Haskell, 3rd in the Travers, 2nd in the Pennsylvania Derby, 2nd in the Dirt Mile against Elders, then came here and won the Clark as a 3-year-old. When he won the Clark against older horses here at Churchill Downs, that was what vaulted him into his 4-year-old season, which was a very good one, and he became the best older horse in the country. So the comparisons to Tenfold, they're warranted.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before. For a barn that doesn't really run horses back quickly, the fact that they're running back in 2 weeks and you can see the flesh that this horse is carrying in the mornings, he's looking great. And like you said, the fact that they just mentioned Gunrunner in comparison to this horse, they obviously like the horse really a lot. So it's just one of those things where coming back in 2 weeks for me is the key in here, because this is a barn that doesn't do that, and they're doing this.
Yeah, right. It'll be interesting to see how much of a run for his money Tenfold can give to Justify. Lots of great promotions at twinspires.com each and every day if you're a horse player, but some very special ones coming up for Belmont Stakes and for the Belmont Stakes Day card. One of them is ongoing. It started June 1st. It's the Belmont Bankroll Builder. You can opt into the Twin Spires Belmont Bankroll Builder to start earning your $25 wagering bonus. As I mentioned, it started a couple days ago, June 1st, but still time to get involved. Each day you bet at least $50 on the Belmont Stakes Belmont card from New York. We'll give you a $5 bonus to play the Belmont Stakes Day card, up to $25 total. Again, you can join up at twinspires.com, available to all players. You must opt into the promotion at twinspires.com/offers to be eligible for the Belmont Bankroll Builder. In addition, there is another great promotion, the $5,000 Belmont Day Parlay. This is really cool and fun. On Belmont Stakes Day, can you let it ride through 6 winning show bets? Play the $5,000 Twin Spires Show Parlay and find out. Start with a $5 show bet in race number 7, win, roll your winnings over to the next race, let it ride all the way through race 12. If you successfully bet all 6 contest races, you'll split the pot with everyone else that did so successfully. Again, it's twinspires.com/offers for full details. Opt into the Belmont Day Parlay. It's a great stakes day, Belmont Day, June 9th. Not only the Belmont Stakes, but a lot of sensational undercard races, including the Acorn. And our Kentucky Oaks winner, Monomoy girl, is going to be the favorite in there. It's a 1-turn race. She won the Oaks going 1 1/8 around 2 turns. But I think this is a perfect race for her. And she's going to work this morning. And the last workout she had here may have been one of her best.
Yeah, we talked to Liz Crow later that day, and she thought it was her best as well. And you can see on the screen here, we're gonna take a look back. That was Dazzling Jim on the inside.
Right.
Dazzling Jim, an older horse, somewhat of a stakes caliber horse in there. So they kind of running out of workmates for this horse. So they decided to pull an older male out of the barn and put Monomoy Girl and Company in here. And the thing that's so obviously we have all these good horses. They're putting in fast times. So let's take a look inside my head what we're looking at in here as far as what I want to see. Obviously, the final time is going to be fast in here, but one thing I like to see are good final quarters. And what that means is when they hit the pole here, the big red pole, how they're finishing up to the lane. It doesn't really matter to me how fast they went early. It's how they're finishing down the lane. Obviously, you need to finish in your races. So last final quarters for me are pretty big. The gallop outs are pretty big for me in here too. But with Monomoy Girl and other horses too, the mind is very important in here. And one thing that I've seen with her is the development of the mind. She has a lot of speed, but now she's learning to relax a little more. She's very she's just picking it up mentally right now, and as horses get older, and it's nice to see that she's still a 3-year-old filly. I mean, sometimes it doesn't happen until they get 4 or 5, so it's just nice to see her development mentally, Joe.
And she's going to be working today, and she's getting prepared for that workout. There you see Monomoy Girl. Justify also entering the racetrack arena, so to speak. And the Acorn is not going to be easy. Caledonia Road, Moonshine Memories. Of course, Caledonia Road, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner on the comeback trail. Had a win in her comeback race as a 3-year-old. Moonshine Memories. Geo Game, who I know you've been very impressed with. Brandon, she's coming off a really nice effort. Spectator, Star Cloud, Talk Vove to me, who's also an up-and-comer with a lot of talent as well. Maybe Gas Station Sushi. But there's no doubt that that is Monomoy Girl's race to lose in the Acorn. And there she is. She'll be working out. Let's turn the attention to Justify. And, Brandon, it's really cool to be able to see the Kentucky Oaks winner come on the track, followed by the Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner.
Yeah, and it's nice that we've opened the track up for the fans to come out to. Obviously, a lot of people watching around the world, but we've opened the gates here at Churchill Downs as well, and just an exciting thing to be able to let the fans come out in the mornings and see, like you talked about. Right now we have the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby winner on the track. You can see Justify, typical walk when he comes out, very confident, the ears are up, and you know, it's really a good sign too, especially with Jimmy Barnes very relaxed in there, the exercise rider very relaxed, they're smiling, they're feeling good, they're confident about their chances in here. And Justify looks the picture of health on the screen.
Yeah, Jimmy Barnes said yesterday he'll have one more gallop. Of course, that's this morning. He's going to let Bob Baffert take over. Bob will be back. And the expected breeze tomorrow morning for Justify. And, again, has not missed a beat, according to the connections, has not missed an oat in the feed tub, looking like the picture of health once again today, and controlled enthusiasm. And Brandon, you see all the fans down there by the rail with their cell phones out taking pictures of Justify as he once again continues his preparation towards the Belmont Stakes and a date with potential history as he looks to become the 13th Triple Crown winner in the history of this sport. Obviously, Elite Company, the connections have been through this before with American Pharoah in 2015, following the same plan with Justify. And I think it's really cool. Obviously, he wins the Preakness Stakes, comes back here to Churchill Downs to train, a treat for everybody on the grounds and watching online.
Yeah, definitely, and you can see here they always just give him a little bit of time to take it all in, and you can just see how composed he is. We talk about it all the time, how composed this horse is, and one of my favorite things to watch with Justify when they let him go from the pony is he kind of always will throw that head a little bit when he breaks off. He's like, "Oh, you've let me loose. I get to do a little something."
He was bucking a little bit too the last couple mornings, just a little bit.
Yeah, you can see that confidence. So usually when he lets him go off the shank here, he's going to just kind of throw his head a little bit, and we'll see if he does it here. But, yeah, just very confident, very relaxed out there. And, I mean, man, this horse just looks beautiful. And, you know, they weren't lying when you had Elliot Walden during the Derby works, and he said that Bob told him this was the most beautiful horse he's ever had, because he really is. And he just looks a picture of health. It's just amazing the fact that a horse that didn't race it too, the fact that he looks the way he looks after these tough battles in here. So kudos to the barn and kudos to everyone from the people that bred and raised him all the way up.
I want to ask you about the comparison to American Pharoah, not as far as they are racehorse-wise, But training-wise, we talked about the same schedule, right? Okay, win the Derby, win the Preakness, train here at Churchill Downs, leading up to the Belmont. But take us back to 2015, Brandon, and what you were thinking then about how American Pharoah was training up to the Belmont versus how Justify is training up to the Belmont.
Yeah, American Pharoah had a little more natural speed, and so they tried to slow American Pharoah down a little more in the mornings, Justify much more relaxed, and I think that's the way they've trained him from the beginning. If you watch some of his earlier works, he's always been putting company on the outside, getting to relax off of horses. I remember one drill he worked with Opportunity, and Opportunity was out in front, and they were getting Justify to relax behind. Well, Opportunity obviously doesn't have a lot of really speed in there, so getting Justify to relax, and you can tell through the gallops he's very relaxed. American Pharoah, on the other hand, for me, was a little more headstrong in his gallops. I mean, you could hear him wanting to do more. With Justify, you don't really hear that as much, but American Pharoah much more on the muscle, so to say, during his gallops. And two different animals in here, but they both very talented. And, you know, like I said, just kudos to everybody that's brought this horse along. I mean, it takes an entire team, from the exercise rider to Jimmy Barnes to Bob Baffert to the vet. It's an entire team in here, and they've done a great job.
Yeah, American Pharoah went right to the lead in the Belmont, won by 5.5. Bob Baffert has said we want a target for Justify, and they're going to enter Restoring Hope in the race, and they expect him to show speed. But we talk about Justify just having that galloper's kind of speed all the way around the racetrack, which suits horses very well when they attempt to win the Belmont Stakes. So there's Justify getting a nice gallop, and not as spirited as the gallop before the last work, but still, you know, doing his job out there and getting prepared for what will be his final work tomorrow, Monday, before he leaves for Belmont and New York on Wednesday. Monomoy Girl, the Kentucky Oaks winner, is expected to work today. We talked about the fact, Brandon, that she had a fantastic workout last week, one of the best we've seen from all accounts and from every aspect of it. What are you expecting her to do today? What would be the perfect scenario for Brad Cox and company?
Yeah, I mean, she's naturally fast in here, so if you see a quick final time, I wouldn't be surprised. But they are trying to get her to relax a little bit. If you remember the work before the Oaks, she worked in 49, I believe. So she can do it all. I mean, if you want her to go 46, she'll do that. If you want her to go to 49, right, she'll do that. So we talked about the mind, and I just like the fact that this horse has kind of found that shut-off button, so to say, but you don't want to take away her natural speed. That's what makes her dangerous in here. And the cut back to the one-turn mile in the Acorn, I think, is going to be perfect. She's got the natural speed to sit off, which is probably what they want to do, but if she draws an inside post and has to go, I'm sure they're not scared to go either, because her quality is there. So you can see the workmate's going to break off. It looks like a length or so in front in here. They're going to get Monomoy Girl to relax on the outside, and they're about to go off from the half-mile pole. Actually, they're around the turn now, so you can see that just sitting very chilly. You can see those ears on the outside. Out to the side just a little bit, but they're flopping. So that's what you like to see. That means she's very relaxed, and she's waiting on her cue right now. So coming around the turn, she's going to pick it up a little bit, probably giving a cue right near the 8th pole. So they just hit the quarter pole there, changed leads on cue, which is nice, and just got a really light hold in here. And we talk about the riders, too, having that light hold on their hands. Good exercise riders and good jocks, they have very light hands in here. And you can see he's just letting it out just a notch, just to see what he's got in here. Going to finish up heads up in here, which is fine. They're both going to finish up pretty quick. I would assume we'll get the splits in just a second. If you look at that drill and you didn't understand what was going on, they finished heads up. You would say, oh, she didn't beat the mate, but he had a huge hold the whole time. Okay,
I'm curious who the mate was, too, obviously.
Yeah, you can still see, you know, his rear end is up in the air, which means he's got a big hold on this horse in here. Very light hands. If he wanted to dust the mate, he could have. Yeah. They want to save something. They don't. The last work was probably their big work. This work, just something nice and easy. Don't worry about that they finished heads up and she didn't, you know, so to say, draw off or anything like that. He had a big hold the whole time, and it's one of those things where you have to watch several things there, or you would say, oh, that wasn't a good work. That was a really good work, because at any time he could have let the reins out and she would have went past.
Yeah, and obviously a strong gallop out all the way to the backstretch, and just kind of pulling up from that work now. The other day we saw a similar work in company, but yes, she was asked and she drew off. Not like she was pushed to run away from the stablemate, but did draw away from the stablemate, approaching the finish line, galloped out nicely, this one, like you said, in company, but was heads up at the wire, heads up all the way around. Is there some sort of competition factor in that where it's like, okay, you're going heads up with another horse, so when it's race day, it's like, okay, it's time for me to go buy these other horses?
Yes, sometimes if horses aren't as focused as they need to be in the mornings, they like to have a mate to keep them company. When I'm writing my notes, what I like to say about a drill like that is something nice and easy but competitive. They want to keep it competitive. You know, they don't want her to get lost out there. Another thing, too, to take a look at, so Pharoah was up last time.
Right.
He's not up today.
Right.
So there's a lot of intent there to do something easy. If they put one of their riders up and not the jock on a big horse, typically they're not looking to do a whole lot. So you can see Giroux is not up today, and just probably exactly what they wanted. They don't want to empty the tank in the mornings. We talk about that with all the barns. They don't want to do that, and you can see her swishing her tail as she's going off, you know, on her toes a little bit, feeling good. She probably wanted to do a little more in there, but she's going to walk off like the professional she is. She's going to take everything in, but we talked about at the wire, that jock had a big hold, so don't worry about that she didn't draw off.
Is there something about wanting to do a little more that maybe keeps a horse on edge for race day?
Definitely, and you want that competitive juice flowing in there, and you want her to say, hey, you know, what's going on? I could have done a lot more, and then the next time she gets the opportunity to do more, it's going to be in the race.
Right, exactly. And there's Monomoy Girl. Justify continuing his gallop. We got Monomoy Girl splits, though. Let's take a look at these here. 11 and 11.3, so 23 flat. So let's see here, 11 and 3. So 11 and 3/5, 23 flat, 36 and 1, 46 and 4. Final time, Brandon, 59 and 1. Gallops out 112 and 4/5. And yeah, so a good work.
Anytime you're galloping out a half-mile drill, you're galloping out 6 furlongs in 112 or less. That's a really strong drill.
Yeah, I think I'm a little confused here. Okay, so Monomoy Girl's time was 12 and 2, 24 flat, 36, 47 and 1, 59 and 4, 112 and 3. So similar to what I had just said, just a little bit confused about the times there, but very similar to what I just said for Monomoy Girl. And a good work, like you mentioned. Let's go to Justify.
Yeah, Joe, so she broke off 2 behind, and even though they hit the wire together, the mate will get the final time, but then you're going to take away 2 seconds because, you know, typically it's 1 length that equals 1/5 of a second.
Right.
So very nice drill there from Monomoy Girl, exactly what they wanted, and one of those drills where you feel like you're looking at 48, similar to Justify, and then you see 47. So very good sign there.
Yeah, when they go faster than you think, that's always a good sign. Here's Justify, spirited gallop, pretty much what we expected to see from him today.
Yeah, very much so, and they don't want to do too much before this workout tomorrow. They want to keep everything in the tank. I would assume same thing tomorrow. You just want to have him under a light hold to the wire, maybe let him gallop out a little bit in here. But we talked about it earlier, the differences between American Pharoah and Justify. Justify, in my opinion, a much more relaxed horse. Now, American Pharoah obviously relaxed enough to go 1.5 miles on the lead in the Belmont.
Right.
But American Pharoah had more natural speed, in my opinion. Justify, they've trained him to be able to relax more, and he looks really good in the mornings. You can't knock anything like that, and you know, it's really exciting to have all these great horses. We saw the Oaks winner, the Derby winner. We've got Tenfold, Bravazzo, and just really excited about that.
Yeah, excited about it. Triple Crown winners. There's only been 12 of them. Justify could be number 13, and the second from the stable in the last few years. American Pharoah, the most recent one to do it, 2015. A 37-year gap, Brandon, between 1978 and affirmed and American Pharoah in 2015. We had 3 in a 5-year period in the 70s. Secretariat, Seattle Slew affirmed, but there was a long gap between Citation and Secretariat. So these kind of go in streaks, at least by a small sample size, with only 12 accomplishing the feat. You'll see, again, in the 30s, from 1930 to 1946, we had a bunch of them all the way up until 1948 as well. But it's not easy to accomplish. I mean, you've got to go 4 miles in 5 weeks, 3 different racetracks against superior competition in the 3-year-old division. And like everyone said, Steve Asmussen, Dwayne Lucas, all the trainers that are going to go against Justify, we'd like to see it as a fan, but we're going to make them earn it, and we'd love to pull the upset.
Yeah, and we've seen over the years, too, that horses tend to they run a little faster and they need more time in between races. So that's probably why we haven't seen it accomplished more recently. And it takes a very special animal in here, and American Pharoah was that, and we're about to see if Justify can do that. But we have a strong cast of characters, including Aidan O'Brien has decided to bring one over, too. So
yeah,
we talked about the other day, just an intriguing field this year, one of the most intriguing Belmont fields in the past.
I got a little confused earlier. That was a free draw Billy workout. Apparently he worked out today as well. So let me give you those times. It was 59-1, 11-3, 23, 34-2, 46-4, out, and 112-4. Wasn't expecting a free drop Billy workout this morning, but again, they made the decision to put him in the Belmont after the last work. I'm sure we'll get a chance to see the video on free drop Billy's workout, and in addition to Kentucky Oaks winner Monomoy Girl. All right, let's talk more about the promotions at twinspires.com. Mentioned this earlier. This is ongoing for the Belmont races today, and continue to build your bankroll towards Belmont Stakes Day. It's the Belmont Bankroll Builder. Opt into TwinSpires Belmont Bankroll Builder on TwinSpires/offers. You start earning your $25 wagering bonus. It began June 1st. Each day you bet at least $50 on the races from Belmont. We'll give you a $5 bonus to play the Belmont Stakes Day card, the Belmont Stakes and all those great undercard races, up to $25 total. It's available to all TwinSpires players. Players must opt into the promotion at twinspires.com/offers to be eligible for the Belmont Bankroll Builder. Now, I know you watch workouts every morning, and there's good ones, there's bad ones, from the $5,000 claimers to the Grade 1 winners. Everything we've seen from these horses, particularly Justify, Tenfold, even Bravazzo, Free Drop Billy, it's all been positive, which only means good things for the race.
Definitely. We're just very fortunate out here to have some of the top contenders for the Belmont in there. Really interesting with Free Drop Billy. You know, Dale in the past with his Belmont runners has tried to get more stamina built up in him. He's really pushing speed with Free Drop Billy. So don't be surprised maybe in the Belmont if, you know, after the Derby when they kind of got shuffled back, don't be surprised if maybe they try different tactics and get Free Drop Billy to go ahead and go out and lead, because a lot of speed put into this horse.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. You know, that a change of tactics might be exactly what that horse needs. At least put him in the race earlier and see what happens. You got nothing to lose. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for the Road to the Triple Crown presented by twinspires.com. We are racing today at Churchill Downs. First post 12:45. $395,728 in the single six jackpot carryover. For Brandon Staubel, our entire TV department here at Churchill Downs. Again, we will be back tomorrow, Monday at 7:20 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Justify with his final work towards the Belmont Stakes. Have a great Sunday, everybody.